Folks, what happens when you release your first hit song and Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle, and other legends want to work with you? Well, that's what the artist Major is having to deal with, which is a good thing. We chatted with him about that and more. Here's our interview. So Major,
Yes,
20
sir.
Feet from Stardom won an Oscar. And that was about folks who were backup singers. You've been behind the scenes. Now all of a sudden you get to step out, and it hasn't been a bad launch.
Man, it's been amazing. I love that comparison because that's exactly what my story has been. While I have been on this grind, I'm from Houston, went to the Performing Arts School, HSPVA, same school as Beyonce and Robert Glasper, and did an intensive at Juilliard before going to Berklee College of Music. And so I've been on my grind as an artist, but I realized that the key to getting to the place was to serve in the capacity that I ultimately wanted to conquer. And so I've just been okay with writing and vocal producing for artists like Nathan Sykes, Ariana Grande, LaPortia Renee, American Idol. Her new project is amazing. But it feels amazing to finally be able to say I got something of my own that is, sweeping the country right now. Alcorn State just performed my song "Why I Love You" at their for their Battle of the Bands competition. So it's kind of surreal, but proof that when God makes a promise, He means that thing.
One other reason why I talked about 20 Feet from Stardom is that a lot of people assume that to be in the music game, you have to be the person out front. Just like people assume if you're in ministry, you have to be the person who's in the pulpit as a senior pastor. When the reality is you can have a dramatic influence, make lots of money, doing other things, and not necessarily be that person who is the headliner.
Right. Well, yes, and that's where I had to accept and be okay with. I've kind of always just known my call is to lead, but in the leading, there's a servitude that's required.
You talked about Alcorn State Band playing it, but then you also have other heavyweights who all of a sudden are in.
Did your research? Of course you did. Of course you did. He's an alpha man. But anyway,
somebody got to do it.
Hey, all day. So yes. First, I get a call from Miss Patti LaBelle.
Just out the blue,
right?
So where does she call?
She calls while she's on the road to interview in Atlanta. She's driving
and
in a limo. Her folks got in touch with my PR person, Keita, and Keita was like, "Yep, Patti LaBelle wants to talk to you," and I'm like, "Patti LaBelle wants to talk to me? Patti, Song of the Rainbow Patty." And she's like, and we get on the phone, and it's like an auntie, a godmother from long ago. It's crazy because that was Somewhere Over the Rainbow was my competition song growing up, her version that won me a lot of things as a kid. And so, to have her say how much she loved it and how she practices with the song, with her voice, it gets her voice clear. She's like, "Can you write me one? I want to cook for you." And she's been performing it, and some of her fans are my fans now, and she performs it like everywhere. And so people are like sending me video. But then Stevie has the audacity to get Stevie Wonder. He is now my new mentor, which is amazing. I'm just honored. I'm excited because he just embraces me in a way, he goes on his radio show, KJLH, and he's like, I love Major's sound, I love his expression, I love this song, and then he keeps his word. He tells everybody, I want him to perform with me for a House Full of Toys, and that's Lionel Richie, John Legend, all these heavyweights, and he's like, Major, and puts me on the bill,
Major.
As Major. And Major's my real name, just an FYI. That's the name my mama gave me.
Okay. So here you have this first single.
Yeah.
And now you got Patti calling you and Stevie calling you. Okay, how you gonna go up?
Listen,
I mean,
the thing is,
I mean, so what? I mean, what's gonna happen? You gonna have a seance, and Prince and Michael
right.
Gonna come back and holler.
Woo! Now, if there's a reincarnation that happens, I'm with it. But, I do it in the spirit and the memory of those great legacies that paved the way, I feel like each bit of God's creation is assigned to a specific need in the earth. And as Michael was and Prince was, I feel that I have an assignment.
So, first, name the full EP.
The full EP is I Am Major.
And so, when you're going through this process, because there's a thing called pacing. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of people, and we see many of these stories on TV One's Unsung, where folks all of a sudden they hit, and then things take off so fast, where they literally can't keep up.
Yeah.
And so, what is your process as you're going through to remind you and your team that, there's a difference between short hit, long play?
Right. So for me, I think that has been the story of my life, the challenge of my life, and I kind of, in retrospect, have been like, I get it. I have this hashtag that says pace is grace. This is my thing that I remind myself, and I tell anybody that thinks,
that wasn't in the research.
No.
So the pacing question.
So we call this moment serendipitous, and we also call it that all things work together. It's divine, what you're saying, because I think for anything, more than anything, it's a forewarning and just it's advice that you're giving me. It's a wisdom where I embrace wholeheartedly that it is about the pacing, because it's easy to get caught up in the hype of everybody. I'm at nearly 9 million views for my song, Why I Love You, on YouTube. That's not normal for somebody that's not signed to a major label. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned independent distribution deal, and again, I mentioned Prince earlier. Mm-hmm. A lot of people they desire the huge record deal. They desire the major label. Mm-hmm. Just like I'll talk to people who want to be a book author, and they're just crazy about this idea of, I gotta sign me a book deal with a Simon & Schuster or someone along those lines. And so, looking at the history of this industry, what artists go through, is that where you are, or are you saying, you know what? Wait a minute, if I've been able to accomplish this, can I maintain more control? Can I generate more income being in this situation, as opposed to, I really need that large record label?
Well, honestly, I'm in the middle of it, because I've kind of accepted where I am now. There were majors that we approached before were like, you're great, but we don't know what to do with this. This is different, because ratchet. But I got a few cuts that have a little of that on it that blend the world. But I'm trained. I didn't just come out here and say, my mama told me I can sing, so I want to sing for you. Like, I worked on this, and so it's not easily understood by people that are paid to work the formula and what's already worked. So I kind of just accepted this independent was what can launch me.
So last question, where do you want to be ranked in when it comes to alpha entertainers? Because look, you got Donny Hathaway, you got Paul Robeson, Duke Ellington, you got Gerald Albright. So there's some competition,
Lionel,
in that space.
Right. Listen, let me make something very clear. Our pedigree. Our pedigree is excellence always. We're the first to make the mark. So I want to be just like a Lionel, just like a Duke Ellington, just like a Paul Robeson. I think that I want to be one that makes a mark that has not been seen before.
All right.
So I'm gonna represent well, boss man.
I appreciate
don't show the people. Don't show.
Oh, no, they can't. I appreciate it. All right, good luck with it.
Yes, indeed, man. Thank you so much.
Kickstart your day at 7 and get the news you need from the perspective you want. NewsOne Now with Roland Martin, every weekday morning at 7 on TV One.